My name is Ian Livingston Reid. I was born in Calgary, Alberta in 1931, just in the Depression. And I've been living in Selkirk since 1947. And I've been practicing medicine in Selkirk since 1956 and worked all the time here with my dad till he retired.
What was your favorite memory growing up?
My favorite memory growing up? No, there weren't memories. Like, my life consisted of going to school and then playing with the kids. We lived on the river, and I lived in the river. Because that's what we did, swim, because you're surrounded by bush and cornfields. And so my friends growing up, I guess, were, and then we had family hour every Sunday. Dad took an hour off to be with the family. Took us to the beach, and it's in here, and the forerunner for water skiing started, called surfboards or aquaplanes.
Wow. When was that?
Almost as soon as we got there. We lived in this beach because the house wasn't ready, so a little cabin on the beach. How do you define a childhood? I mean, I didn't know we were that poor. Right?
It didn't make a difference?
No. I played with the kids in the street. We didn't have a lot. I had one very distinct memory. Sitting on the curb, I guess I was 3 or 4. I had done a little chore for her. She came out and gave me a candy wrapped in pretty foil. And it was so pretty I didn't want it. I'm sitting on the curb with mine. One of the kids stole it from me. Oh, heartbreak. But she saw it. Came out and gave me it.
That's nice of her.
But I mean, that would depict a degree of poverty that I wasn't aware of. That one candy went that much. When the kids get today. But in that way, Dad was a good father because we never went really without. He had a favorite secondhand store. He would pick up stuff for us for Christmas. And he graduated in 1939. And that's when we moved to Lac du Bonnet. And that's more where my life began in my man. Because during the war, he wanted to join the Air Force, but the government would let him. He was the only doctor between here and Kenora.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's where the 25,000 miles came in and the 10,000 patients. Doctors say there's 1,000 patients that are overworked.
Exactly.
And Lac du Bonnet was the end of the road. From there you flew. There were 4 airlines, 7, operating on Lac du Bonnet. But and then when I was 12, I decided maybe I should try and get a license. And so I went into the town office in Lac du Bonnet. Guy seemed to be around by each time he gave it to me. Oh. And a week later he came to us and says, "You can't have that, you're too young." So he took my license away, and somebody else reported me for speeding when I was 12. And there he said, "Just don't let him drive in town."
When did you decide you wanted to be a doctor?
I never remember not knowing. Because that's all I did.
It was always just...
Yeah. And Saturdays we spent a lot of time, because it was a big holiday area out there. All the big shots from Winnipeg. The Jewish people went to Winnipeg Beach, and the commoners went to Grand Beach, and the rich people went to Lac du Bonnet. Eaton's had a place for all their employees, no, for the supervisors called Bell Acres, Beautiful Acres. But Chown, Dr. Chown, but Reed Motors, they all had places out there. That was, they all had fancy dogs and let them on loose, and every weekend they'd be bringing dogs with porcupine quills. You know what a porcupine is? official. So
And you have to take them out?
So Dad was the vet. And I'd give the dog ether, and Dad would pull the hooks or pull out the pork. And he was a vet as well. I remember we were one day and he had to pull in the farmhouse. There was a horse that got hit by a car and he was thrown up. So what the custom was, because people didn't have a lot of cars, each day of the week he took a different route to a different place. Pine Falls went to a different place. And so there was company on the road. The butcher in Selkirk, in Lac du Bonnet, was an itinerant butcher. He had a truck, it outfitted with a freezer. And so he went the same route Dad went. And if anything happened, the other one was on the road.
Perfect.
Made sense. So if you wanted the doctor to stop at your house on the road, you put a red flag on your post. If you wanted the butcher, you put a white flag on your post. So you knew where you stopped along the way. You know, talk about outlaws. Oh, the other one that's interesting, he would often, there was not many cars in those days, and you were tired of sitting on porch doors on farms waiting for babies to come.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who was due that week, Father would load them in his car, drive them to Pine Falls, induce them so they all have the baby that night, and then he's done for the week.
Wow. So he'd just go from room to room delivering babies?
Yeah, well, they had cage from this way, in and out. But on one, we were halfway between Great Falls and Pine Falls. Don't you know Great Falls? Power station on the Big River. Halfway between Lac du Bonnet and Pine Falls.
Okay.
There was 5 of those stations, all powered and ready, and they're all still there making electricity.
Okay.
Seven Sisters, Great Falls, Point de Noir, Slave Falls, and now there's more. There's MacArthur and Powderview.
Okay.
But the guys collecting pulpwood, because Pine Falls makes paper to pulp. So all around here is a little pulp camps selecting wood to make paper. And these big 18-wheelers in the bush to get pulpwood would pull in the rearview mirrors, but going through the bush they'd get broken. And so they'd get out on the road and left to Pine Falls, but they'd never stop and push the mirrors out again.
Oh.
So Dad gets behind one of these, the mirror's gone, you can't see them. They're roaring with that big motor. He's trying to get there to get these ladies to have their babies.
Mm-hmm.
So he's frustrated as hell. Gets his 38 out, leans out, he's left-handed, shoots the tires on the truck, and they pull over. How do you get a flat tire in the middle of winter out here? And Dad would whip by to the hospital and that was it.
Wow. That's
My first radio was a crystal set.
Wow.
You haven't even heard of that. It was a box with a crystal in it, galena weavers, a type of metal that would vibrate with radio waves in the air. And then you had a fine wire, a crystal hair, and you touched the stone in certain places. It would pick up the vibrations. And then by how much antenna you stuck out and grounded it, and have World War I earphones, you could pick up radio.
Wow.
I picked up KL5R Bismarck in North Dakota.
From Lac du Bonnet?
Yeah,
Wow.
but that was my first radio. No batteries, nothing.
Wow. Oh, that's wonderful.
But you see, people don't know these things from the past, and they're not written up. And my grandson has my dad's crystal set that I took over, now he took it. Now it's gone through 4 generations.
Wow. Does he still? Can you still use it? Does it still work?
Sure, absolutely. Probably better because the radio stations are stronger. Easier to pick up than radio with airplanes flying over it.
What do you feel is your greatest accomplishment?
Well, I guess the first one would be 3 drug-free successful.
Yes.
3 drug-free successful kids. All of them graduated, and all drug-free university graduates. That to me is success. And then the other one is helping raise a community of drug-free kids.
Yes.
No, as well as patching people up taking out loose parts.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But to me, the kids are the story about everything. My kids and other kids.
Okay.
Because that's the future.